Looking for inspiration on how to organize energy cooperatives, we visited Belgium, a country divided into two parts, a Flemish part and a Walloon part. We start with the Flemish part, where we once again saw that everything depends on people and their commitment. We start with the wealthier Flemish region, where energy cooperatives have been operating for some time. But the beginnings were not so easy. As always, it depends on people's passion and organizing that passion.
Well, a long way ago, in 1983, I came out of university. I should have been a Dutch and English teacher, but I wanted to become an organic farmer. But we didn't find a farm. We found an old derelict watermill that was recognized as a historical national monument. And we bought it for almost nothing, but it was more like a ruin. That was my father's idea. But it was a monument, so we got some money to restore it. And it also had a water turbine, hydro turbine, that used to provide the whole village with electricity between 1907 and 1947. And we also had to restore that part. And then when we were planning to do it, so we noticed we needed some money. And so we set up a cooperative because that was the easiest way to raise money from friends and family. And then we encountered when it turned out that we would produce enough electricity for more than 100 families. So we went to the electricity company, which at that time was 50% municipally owned and 50% by private monopolists that also had nuclear power plants, Electrabel. And they told us, we won't give you any money for what you supply to the grid. You will have to pay us to accept it. So that was, in the mid of the 90s, the economical framework for renewable energy in Belgium. So it was not a very favorable situation. So nothing was possible because they said we have enough nuclear power. And so then from that moment on till now, actually what you could call a career, what I've been doing is getting rid of obstacles. So in Belgium and later in Europe. And so what did we do? Well, we looked at Germany. They had just had a favorable law for renewable energy. And being a linguist, I translated it from German into Dutch. And they put it on the table in the Belgian Senate. And then, all at once, something was possible, because until then, the price of electricity was actually dictated by the private monopolist. And then there was a law that would regulate prices, so they didn't like the idea of having a law. And so they came to us and said, we will give you 1 Belgian franc per kilowatt hour. We said, that's nice for us, but actually we need 2. And then we can start installing solar panels on roofs and having wind turbines. And we got 2 Belgian francs. And so by the end of the 90s, we had this economical framework that made investments in renewables possible. And from that moment on, our cooperative, we started here with small hydro, 100 families, but we had to sell it to the private monopolists, the electricity. But then came the European legislation that the markets should be liberalized, that monopolies had to be broken up into pieces. And that gave us the opportunity to become not only a producer of renewables, but also to become a supplier. And our members in our General Assembly, as a cooperative, it's a democratically organized company, they urged the board to become a supplier. We didn't know anything about it, but at that time we already had 3 wind turbines. At that time it was the biggest wind farm of Belgium, 3 cooperative wind turbines. And so they told us, let's become a supplier. We didn't know anything about the business. And we were working with volunteers. And we started with 10 people. So the board and the guy from the ministry who urged us to do it. And then someone from the municipality where we had these 3 wind turbines. So we started with 10 people. It took us a year and a half to send invoices, because we didn't understand the messages we got from the monopolist about the consumption of our clients. So, but finally we managed, And because we didn't take profit, so we sold the electricity at cost. We were about 25% cheaper than the big monopolist. We never made publicity, so we started growing and growing. And so now we have about 70,000 members, and we supply 1.7% of the Flemish households with their own green electricity. And maybe you say, well, Belgium is a rich country and people have loads of money. Well, actually, when we look at our membership, most of our members only have one share of 250 euro. And for 250 euro, they have green electricity from their own installations of the cooperative at the lowest price. And we noticed that there are some people who who have problems putting 250 euro at once on the table, so we have a savings mechanism so that they get some time to save up the 250 euro. Yeah? So 75% of our members only have one share of 250 euro. Even if you put solar panels on your private roof, it costs at least 10 times more. So actually, an energy cooperative is a way to democratize the introduction of renewable energy, which we are facing. Yeah? So it is, according to us, it's the ideal tool to do the transition from fossil to renewables.
Looking for solutions to energy cooperatives, we travelled to Liège, one of the most important cities in Wallonia. It soon turned out that Flemish regulations and Wallonian regulations are something that's completely different. Certainly,
à ce moment-là, élaborer la création de cette coopérative.
We set up our energy cooperative hoping that the Wallonia regional government would put into place favourable regulations to provide for the rapid development of renewable energy communities. We set up our cooperative back in 2021, but we're still waiting for the favourable regulations. I very much hope that these regulations will be in place soon. We have also received a grant from the regional government authority, which has enabled us to hire our first staff member. This will help us speed up implementation of our idea.
Au centre, the citizen in the centrum. Nous avons un certain enthousiasme de la part des autorités.
It's not just enthusiasm on the part of the regional authorities. Citizens are also enthusiastic. We now have 220 members and another 200 collaborators. We haven't yet been promoting our energy cooperative. We certainly have the regional government on our side. In Wallonia, we have 2 energy cooperatives which are older than ours. I'm thinking especially of USB Energy, which has been operating for maybe 10 to 15 years. They developed their own wind project, and wind energy has been the main focus to date.
Et puis nous avons les autorités locales, régionales qui nous soutiennent.
Je suis la première personne engagée par la coopérative et aussi la seule personne engagée.
I'm the first and the only employee of the energy cooperative, so I have wide-ranging responsibilities. Basically, I have to do everything to make the cooperative work. I've been with the energy cooperative for a year. My basic task has been to develop the business of the energy cooperative, that's renewable energy production. My second task is to work with the management and the members of the cooperative to establish a renewable energy community. This is the idea for people living in a building or a district or 60 to 100 households taking on joint action to renovate their homes, replace boilers which are often devastated, and install photovoltaics. The idea is to organize energy sharing even at the scale of a building. We're very much in a development phase. We are looking for partners and also for additional funding. We need to develop and sustain our structure from a business point of view. Our mission is to create jobs and to maintain them. So far, it's proving not too difficult. 2 years ago, we started with 17, and now there are 220 of us.
Produire de l'énergie qui peut être partagée au sein de ce même bâtiment, ce genre de choses.
We have seen that solutions in the Flemish and the Wallonian regions are quite different. But we have been persuaded once again that not everything comes down to regulations. As always, setting up an energy cooperative depends on people, on leaders, and there's no shortage of such leaders here in Belgium, but also in Germany and in Poland.